Here's the problem. Too many founders think that once the first few franchise units are sold, the hard part is over. It's actually just the opposite. That's when the real work begins. It's frustrating because in your head, you're scaling, but in reality, you're running 3 separate startups. Systems start breaking down, gaps in support appear, and franchisees start asking you for things that you've never even thought about. But it doesn't have to feel like chaos. Today, I'll walk you through exactly what to expect after your first 3 units are open and the playbook for scaling smart rather than getting buried in chaos. After your first 3 units are open, you're no longer a founder, you're a franchisor. Here's what changes. If you're an emerging franchise founder, you already know this. The jump from 10 to 100 units is where most brands stall out. Not because the concept isn't strong, but because the founder is drowning in chaos. I'm Guy Coffey, franchisor, franchisee, and growth strategist. I've been where you are, and I know what it takes to build a brand that scales without burning out, selling out, or losing control. That's why I created the Franchise Scaleup Show. Every week, I'll share the playbooks, the red flags, and the mindset shifts that separate the brands that stall from the ones that scale. So if you're serious about protecting your vision and multiplying your brand, hit subscribe right now. This is the Franchise Scaleup Show. I'm Guy Coffey. Let's get to work. Today's episode is going to be broken down into 3 separate sections. The first is really a mindset shift that you're going to need to make and understand myth versus reality. The second is how to look at your first 3 units in a productive light. And the third is going to be 5 shifts that you as a founder need to make in order to transfer over your skills, brand, education, intensity, and talents into being a really good franchisor. So let's get this kicked off with the first, the myth versus the reality. So the first 3, everybody thinks about is like, well, man, we've got some momentum right now. But the fact is, you've just signed up for 3 stress tests. And this is where you're going to find out that your system that you think is so perfect isn't perfect yet, which is okay too, but it's eye-opening. And I don't want this to come as a surprise to you, right? The second section is the first 3 units and looking at them as a form of a stress test on your units. Be thankful that you don't have 10 opening at the same time, okay? So 3 is a good number. What you're going to find out is that your franchisees are going to show you what's been missing. So the ops manual versus reality, like what wasn't covered in there that you and your team naturally did without even documenting it. Your first franchisees are surely going to show you this. And if they're not saying something, definitely ask them because they are seeing things that you and your team haven't seen for sure. Please do elicit feedback. Number 2, training versus education. The classroom training isn't enough. You are going to have so many support calls in the early days because it's going to be things that aren't covered in your ops manual that we're going to point out the gaps as we talked about. So expect a lot of support calls in the beginning from your early franchisees and don't look at them as a burden or as a sign that, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done this yet. It's just a natural part of the progression. Don't freak out about it. Just document everything and shore up those weak areas. That's part of this process. And then the third thing is the marketing versus market fit, particularly if your first few franchisees or franchise locations aren't in your local market. You might find that what worked in your market doesn't exactly fit in the new market that your franchisees are in. Don't fight it. Don't say that they're wrong. Just find out what marketing that would fit in that area is. Look at competitors, get feedback from other people, and make those adjustments early on. Again, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something just needs to be improved, right? And the third section here is the more detailed one, and it's the 5 shifts that you must make as a founder when you have 3 units open, 3, 5, a handful, let's just say. And the first thing that you need to do is go from doer to coach. You're not going to be able to do everything. There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough of you to go around for everybody. So you can't be fixing things, doing things. You have to learn how to lead and how to coach. And hopefully you have those skills or you've been working on them and honing them. Leaders aren't born, they're made. So go through the steps to take to be a good leader and a good coach. So that's the first thing. Got to stop doing and being a coach. And it feels weird because you've been in go mode probably your whole life. And now your footprint is going to get so big that you can't do it all. So again, just start learning how to coach. Second is going from selling to supporting. If you have a brand that's taken off and it's been really successful, pretty sure that you have some selling skills, whether you're aware of them or not. You might be very aware of them and know that that's a strong point for you, but you have to go from yourself selling to supporting other people so that they can do it. Kind of goes along with the coaching, but specific to sales skills, trying to be honest, this sounds bad, but dummy it down so that almost anybody can do the sales process that you naturally have done. The third thing is you're going to go from this visionary who's just coming up with ideas, seeing what sticks, making quick adjustments, to being someone that is documenting everything you do, everything you've done, the successes, the failures. You want to be able to show what you're doing, why you're doing it, why it failed, why it's successful. And I think the easiest way to do this is to actually record yourself a lot when you're doing things on the computer. There's a lot of different systems. The one that I use is called Loom. If you're coming up with a new process or you want to show people what to do, don't tell, show, do video, record yourself with your phone, record yourself doing things, record your conversations with people so that you can actually document it easier, or just provide the video if you have it. It's called the camcorder method by one coach named Dan Martell. Camcorder's a little outdated, but you get the idea. Rather than having to recreate or trying to recreate what you just did, have the video going, have the audio recording going, do it on Loom, do it on Fathom or whatever AI recorder you have. It's easier than ever. So get used to recording yourself and get over that. I don't like my voice, or I don't like the way I look that day. Who cares? What we're trying to do here is get documents and processes in so you can help people win, people that have invested in your product, your service, your brand. Fourth thing is you're going to go from founder-led to team-led. At a certain point, again, your bandwidth is going to become limited. You're going to have other responsibilities. And to be honest, later on, one of your responsibilities is at the very, most minimal level is to be a figurehead. You are going to be the one that's, at the trade shows or the expos or speaking or doing this. And you can't be the one that's always leading your team as the team gets bigger. So you have to grow your own leaders and give them areas of responsibility and train those people so that they can train the people that are coming in behind them. This is a quick break to thank you for listening. Every week we are getting more and more people listening to the show, and this growth is helping me to improve it and make it even more helpful to you. My intention for this show is to help more people win in business and life. To that end, I have a favor to ask. If you know of an entrepreneur that would benefit, please hit the share button and shoot them a text with the link. Back to the show. Make this a great day. The last thing is you're going to be going from scrappy to scalable. And scrappiness is part of the DNA of every successful founder that I've ever met. We are professional problem solvers. We get 19 problems or questions a day that we might not have the answer or the solution to, but somehow, some way, we don't crumble and lie down and give up. We figure out a way to solve it, which is fantastic as the founder. But as the franchisor, your franchisees and their teams are going to not have the same level of scrappiness that you do. So you actually need the tools and processes that are scalable, that they can have reference to, that they can go look at, follow the directions, follow the recipe, and overcome these issues. So that's the final thing. You have to go from scrappy to scalable. Some warning signs for your early franchisees. I want you to really look at these. Your early franchisees are your pioneers, as I call them. They are higher risk tolerance people. Otherwise, they would have gone into a system that has 1,000 units or something like that. They have bought into your dream before you even actually have the results on a scalable level. But you look for these warning signs and engage early and often. as the founder, I want you, for your first handful, to be talking to these people all the time, right? So the first warning sign is they're not hitting break even in the expected amount of time, the amount of time that you actually represented. If they're not doing that, they're not making progress, that's a warning sign. The other warning sign is high support call volume with the same issues over and over again from different, even if it's from different areas. That means that you don't have documentation in place to handle that issue and share that with the system. At the very least, you should be pointing it out to them like, we have a document for that. We have a process for that. If you don't, and you have to go in there or your team has to go in there and fix things, that is not scalable and you're not doing your job as a franchisor. The third thing is if the marketing is just failing in new markets compared to where it is in yours. I don't think this is usually going to happen unless there's a real anomaly, but be aware that it is a possibility and you have to make your brand positioning clear. And if it is really falling on its face, you have to go in there and make adjustments one way or the other. You can't ignore it. And the final thing is to be honest, if you're still involved in every call, you have to separate. I know I just said that I want you in touch with the early franchisees all the time, but you can be in touch with them and then delegate those things to somebody else on your team for the ultimate solution. So you should not be involved in every call because that is, again, not scalable. The playbook for moving forward: invest in your franchise playbook, your operations manual, your coaching, and your supporting roles. That is going to be the backbone of your system, and that's what your success or your failure is going to be built on. So start with that right away. Second thing is the easiest way to get people trained up is to have a system that everybody has access to, and that's a good learning management system. And there are super cheap ones out there. There's super expensive ones, and there's some that are right in the middle that will scale with you. And I will make an unsponsored recommendation here for a company called Learning Zen that has a fantastic learning management system. I met the Learning Zen people at a conference early on, and I met them after one of the people on our team had done research and recommended that I talk to them at the IFA conference. And that was in 2017 or 2018. That system has grown with Frenchies and it's still in use today. And it's a simple system to use, but it doesn't have to be that one. Just find a learning management system that you can populate with your particular information and build it out so that it's robust, because that's going to be a selling point for you as well. And then standardize your discovery day and your franchisee onboarding. So you have to have a set system for when people come to visit you. If you're not at this point yet, you will be at some point. So you want to have that really dialed in so you and your team aren't scrambling on discovery day in front of people that are expecting you to really have your stuff together. Okay. And then the franchisee onboarding process has to be really well thought out and written out. And again, this is evergreen. Your first one, you go back afterwards and say like what worked well in that, what didn't. Second one, it's going to be a little bit more refined and it's going to keep on getting refined. And then the feedback loops. This is the final thing, is you have to have feedback loops. Once someone purchases your franchise system and you go through and they open up their territory or their brick and mortar location or anything like that, there has to be automatic feedback loops in there. And that could be advisory councils, surveys, and early wins documentation, as well as like standing meetings, like what's going on. Like you want to know what's going on in your system as easily as possible. In summary, here are the tactical takeaways from this episode. Number one, treat your first few franchisees as systems testers, not just revenue builders. Number two, expect your documentation, your training, and your support to reveal some gaps. That's okay. Just fix them. Number three, shift roles from operator to founder to franchisor and from seller to supporter. Number four, build infrastructure in your system, learning management system, ops manuals that are going to stand the test of time and be great resources for your franchisees to reference. And finally, your success depends on your franchisees becoming successful. You want to make that as easy as possible, that anything that they're saying coming back to you uses feedback to improve your system. And that's how you can make the most out of your first few units. If today's episode gave you clarity on what to expect after your first few units are open, please share it with another founder who's in the same stage. And if you want help building your playbook from 3 units to 50 units, head on over to geecoffee.com and book a franchise scale-up strategy session with me. It'll provide clarity. You'll feel better. Until next time, keep scaling with speed and purpose. This has been the Franchise Scale-Up Show with me, Geek Coffee. Thanks for listening. Take good care. That wraps up today's episode of the Franchise Scale-Up Show. If this gave you a strategy you can put into play, please share it with one founder who needs the help. You might save them months of pain. If you're ready to go deeper, whether it's building your support infrastructure, accelerating territory sales, or preparing for private equity, go to geecoffee.com. That's GUYCOFFEY, and book a free franchise growth strategy call. I only partner with founders who are committed to scaling without losing control. If that's you, I'd love to connect. Until next time, protect your vision, move fast, and scale smart. I'm Geek Coffee. Talk soon.